Come along with us on our ride to source early spring Luo Chun green tea 2022. We had been in touch with our source since mid-February to see when the early spring harvest would begin. And knowing that it starts normally in late February, however, this year it started a week or two later due to the proper winter that Taiwan has had this year, as opposed to recent years. The weather got cold and with significant precipitation, which bodes well for spring tea growing season. Particularly, or at least most directly, for this type of tea, which is the earliest harvest of the year of all Taiwan tea types. Luo Chun tea leaves are picked very immature in their growth stage, just as leaf buds, and processed in the most minimal way, which is basically allowing them to wilt and then exposing them to high temperature to cease oxidation, and then they are gently rolled and dried. In the 1970s and 80s, Luo Chun, the pre-existing tradition of growing Luo Chun, specifically in the Sanxia District of Taipei, was revised or experienced a renaissance, so to speak. The government was able to subsidize the farmers there in response to the sudden demand for high quality tea based on economic growth here in Taiwan. And the Luo Chun tradition became somewhat commercialized, yet maintaining its pre-modern infrastructure in the sense that most of Luo Chun is made in the way that tea was produced decades ago. We're here at our source of Luo Chun green tea. This factory was full of leaves just last night, and we're gonna cruise through here. All empty and all spoken for. All the tea from last night is sold. We are getting the final 2 bags. The yield is still quite small because it's very early spring. The leaves are just starting to bud. Happy days. Most Luo Chun is made by farmers selling their fresh produce to factories, and factories processing the leaves and then selling the tea. We see this as a sustainable point in the sense that the farmers are relieved of the pressure and the cost of processing their leaves and then being able to liquidate their produce. They can just harvest their leaves on an ongoing basis, which is also specific to Luo Chun because the leaves are picked so frequently. This allows for less factories, which has less environmental impact, and just gives the farmers an easier time of being tea farmers and not having to worry about being tea merchants. Check it out, Luo Chun green tea, early spring 2022.